Alright, so today we're going to pick up on part 3 of the mini truck build. I finished the hitch up. I went ahead and V'd this out right here and laid a weld in there. I need to take a flat disc just to make sure it's good and flat, because I don't want my rear panel to come over there and stick out because of it. So then that'll be done. And other good news, our lift kit arrived finally. That free 2 days shipping turned into 12 days, but it's here. That's what matters. I'm not done with the project yet, so I'm not gonna get this open apparently. Hang on. There we go. That's better. So I opted for the ones with the adjustable camber. You can get the ones that are fixed and whatever, but you know, these ones were available, and it really wasn't much difference in price. I won't be able to use the rear shackles like they're made. You see what they did. I was just going to make this. I just couldn't find that metal, that tubing that size. It's unfortunate. Not a lot there. Comes with hardware. I don't know what. It's metric hardware. And here's the camber plates. See, they're adjustable forward and back. They make one that's a V, but really the way these sit in there, all I need to do is just adjust it in. Man, that is, oh, there's 2 plates. I was gonna say, man, that is awful thick. Yeah, so that's probably 3. Every so often I have camera troubles, and this is no different. So when I ordered these, I knew these would not work for our purpose because they're straight. And mine are tapered, which I don't really care. I could put this in a vise and bend it if I really wanted to, or whatever, or make bushings to go between the two. Whatever, we'll figure something out. It's just a mini truck. Well, I got it, but man, did I struggle. I went about every inch and tack welded all the way across and all the way down, and then I just kept coming back through and leapfrog, go back to where my tacks were, skip, you know, every third or whatever, and then come back and do the next one, and come back and do the third one, until I had it all the way across. You can see how hot this has gotten because I've cooked the rubber in there. But I laid these on top thinking in my thin spots where I was really having trouble, maybe that would pull some of the heat out. I don't know if it helps or not, but now I'm gonna flap this and see if we can make it look like something better than what it does now anyways. Well, it looks good from afar, but it's far from good, that's for sure. These edges came out better than I thought it down here. I took a cutting wheel and defined the edge, and I took the flat disc and rolled it over. Hindsight's 20/20. What I should have done was taken something and made this 90 a little more sharp or crisp. Should have sharpened that up so that it came out even, because the edges were rolled so badly I didn't even realize till I started welding. It was too late by then. This side probably came out, this corner, this drop down here came out better than the other side. Now we got to get the sides back on it, and then I'll put the hinges. I got to clean the hinges up and get them welded back on. So this handle was on the corner, and this flange was bent. This bolt was busted off, and a little bit of a pickle to get it out, but we got it. And if you ever wonder why these Japanese trucks rust out so badly, look at this. This is a bolt-on part on this tailgate, yet they bolted it on and then painted it. I don't know if there was any primer underneath there or not, but I use weld-through primer in between metal, so hopefully don't have that issue, but I guess that just costs too much for these little trucks. So it has these bars here, and what this is intended to do is hold this side of the gate, this side of the bed up when the gate's down. So they got these little, same thing, little brackets got to be welded on. They're kind of bent at a goofy angle and what have you. And I go to put this one on, and you know, sometimes this is what takes so long in these projects. It's supposed to go straight like that, but look, the pin's bent. I can't put it back together like that because that means I have to either weld this crooked in there and I can't get it right, or I just have to let it go. That's better. Alright, it is all finished up. I got these welded in. Just take a flat disc and kind of define the weld around here, cleaned up a little bit just so it looks a little nicer. Not perfect, but better. Now I wiped it all down with acetone. Hit it with a flat disc first, of course. Now we're going to prime it and I guess throw some paint on it. Waiting on the first coat to dry, and then I'll get a second one on there. You see how that's what I was looking for with the hinge. I just took that flat disc in there, and the weld starts way down here. So I just made a shelf looking, you know, I don't know. I thought it would look a little bit nicer, but you know, whatever. You're either going to be really, really good at welding, or you're going to be superb with a grinder. And I'm working on getting better with a grinder. Got the first coat of black on this, so I tend to get a little impatient with paint, so I'm going to walk away from it and start moving on to something else, because I need to get 2 good heavy coats on this. I got my tack coat, which is just a dusting, and then I put a full coat. But I don't want it to turn out like crap, so I'm going to walk away from it, and we're going to move on to the next thing. Now, the next thing is, what I'd like to do is I want to put lights up here in this area. So my thought is, what I'd like to do is make a plate, take some 1/8 inch plate and cut it to match this and go above the window right in this area and let it be recessed in here, and then put a flange on the edge so that we can just drill holes and bolt through inside this lip with some stainless bolts and put it together. So let's see if we can get us a template going. So this is my template. This was the outside of the body on the outside of that, but I'm going on the inside. So it's about a 1/2 inch width, so I don't have a compass, which would work well. So I just held my finger like this and just followed the pattern that we have. Hopefully it'll work out. I'll have to flap disc it, the edge of it, to fine tune, because I'm going to cut it with a plasma cutter. I'm going to come up in here just on that side of the line so that it leaves me something to flap disc to make it work, or at least get it close. Well, after many up and down, up and down, up and downs, we got it pretty close. Close enough I'm happy with it. And to mount it, you can see these little hot spots here. I just welded little tabs on the back like this, and we drilled holes through this rain gutter, and we're going to put nuts on the back side. It won't be the easiest thing in the world to get to, but once our lights are cut in, it gets far easier, so I'm not concerned. Plus, we might end up using an Allen head, so they're not a square, just be round. We'll see what I got. Next, I need to figure out my light configuration. I've laid this out and messed with it and played, you know, rearranged and what have you. I've got it set up for 3 lights on either side, and I have only drilled the holes for 2. I just don't know if I want the 3rd light. It's a lot. I mean, 2 lights takes, I mean, really what I'm doing is just using up space. It's not like it's gonna add anything to it, and I just don't know. I'm undecided. That's why I've only drilled the holes here, and I didn't center punch these 2 yet, because I'm not convinced I'm going to do those. I just don't know. I think it's going to look goofy in here, this big wide open space. And I decided to use stop turn tail there, and at least the backup light is going in there for sure. I'm just not sure if I'm putting a strobe or not. I'll show you my 3 options here. I put them up on our Facebook group, JC Smith Projects on Facebook, and let everybody kind of look at my options and see what we thought. And a lot of people like this one or that one or what have you, but I'll show you the options now. Well, some of my followers on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok have already seen that I smoke my drill. I understand this is not a Milwaukee Fuel, this is the Milwaukee Brush version, but I bought it, I found out, and it was manufactured in 2018. This is 2022. I just called with the serial number. They said it's still within the warranty period, so we're going to send it in and see if it's something they're going to fix, or if they tell me it's not covered under warranty. I mean, it got so hot. I'll just show you the video here. Uh-oh. There's no way I'll be able to catch all that smoke and get it back in there. So I'm going to box it up, send it in, see what they say. I'm still going to have to buy another drill because I want to get a Milwaukee Fuel. Alright, so it's the next day. The humidity was very high the day I painted this, and it was extremely hot, and it just took forever. Now, it's still a little soft feeling to me, so we're just going to let that go and let it cure out the best we can. We'll probably take it outside, put it in the sun, bring it back in, get it out of the sun, do that a few times. It seems to help this aerosol paint to dry. We'll see, I don't know. I'm not a painter. Anyways, I wanted to explain why I was building that. And I really didn't want all 3 lights, but I didn't like the 2 lights with that great big gap in there, and I didn't like the solutions I had come up with to fill that gap to make it look right. The purpose of this is not because I just like lights. It's because there's such a huge amount of sheet metal above that window. It just looks disproportionate. So I figured if I put lights up there, you know, you fill that with black, now you take away some of that white, it doesn't look quite so odd. So while that's drying, we need to move on to the bulkhead of the dump bed. I have found a reservoir. I located one, I ordered it, I paid for it, it's shipped, it should be here, you know, within the next month or so, who knows. But anyways, so that part's not handled complete, but we'll have to revisit the dump assembly soon. I got a few more things I got to do, but I can't do them till I get this part done, or I don't want to, I should say. So what I need to do is, you see this little piece here just kind of flapping in the breeze. I need to create something that will hold that like it used to on the body. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to come in right here at this mark and just go across here and just cut this front lip off. We don't need it, we don't want it, it's just going to be a nuisance. The engine cover we'll put back in, we'll create something to bolt it to. But what I need to do is I want to bring this up proportionate to the height of the sides. I was going to come up farther, but I just don't see it being necessary. Mostly because the light panel's up here, and if I come up this way, I would just be coming up to here. And that's a lot of metal flopping around that I just don't think we're going to need. We're not loading this at a gravel yard. Whatever gets in here, we're putting in here. We'll be careful. So I don't think I really need to protect the back window or the back of the cab. I think we're okay. So again, we're going to come in here, we're going to cut this off, and I'm going to leave the box tubing you see right there. I'm going to leave that for right now. Yeah, I'm going to leave that for right now until I decide where we're going and how I want to do it, because I need to get something in here, but I also have to make provisions for the latch for the gate, and I got to make sure this gets handled. So let me work on this a little bit, and I'll bring you back when I got an idea. I got a lot of work to do underneath this thing, so I think it's time that I build a prop, safety prop, whatever you want to call it. So I think what I'm going to do is build something that goes right inside here and can sit underneath the edge of that eyelet and sit on top of that ram. That way I can rest a little easier while I'm working and banging and moving stuff around, because I have this set up, and then I put a block on top of the tires, and I had blocks in the pinch point back there, but it's probably just time to do it right. Well, this is a fine contraption here. I'm going to cut this tubing. This is nothing more than 1.5 inch inside diameter tubing, which we need 1.25 inches to go around the rod, which is perfect. Give me a little bit of room and get me away from the gland nut to where the pipe actually sits on the gland head, not the packing itself. So I found where the seam was, because this is welded tubing, and I just use that as my straight edge, and is my straight line, made a line, and also made a plumb cut. Now, I'm not making it exactly cut in half. I'm going to come just past half, so we just have the beginnings of the ends curving in. So I'm going to plasma cut that down, and let's see how well this goes or how bad it turns out. So I found this stainless steel hinge I had laying around, so I think what I'm going to do is put a hinge on this so that both halves can be in around it. But I'm going to cut this down because that's just too bulky. So I'm going to cut it probably right about here with a cutting wheel, around here, and then down there. And I'm only going to use the top and bottom. I don't think I'm going to use this whole thing. I don't think it's necessary. I might just cut. I'd like to weld it on as one piece and then just cut the pin right there when I'm done. I don't know how well that'll work, but I'm going to need 3 so that the pin stays in. I guess not necessarily, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to go 3 and 3. So I put the 2 halves together and use a hose clamp to hold them, and I just cut that hinge down a little bit. Oh, you know what I forgot? You see that pin's coming out. I'm going to have to tack weld the ends of it so the pin won't come out. I better do that now. Still hot. So I decided just to go ahead and clean it up and weld a hinge on this side too. And I pulled the pin out, I just put it in the vise and bent a 90 on the tip of it and tapered the end a little bit to make it easier to go in. So now we can just put it around the ram and it'll fall down into place. At least that's the plan. Let's see how it works. Around the bottom. Falls right in. That'll do. I'm going to leave my prop in there, but you can see it's resting against the gland head, not the seal, and it'll rest against the crossover. So I'm happy with that, and then we can just take that. We don't need it, and that little toolbox is down. That'll be down in here. We'll just put it in there, or we'll find a way to have it up in the front. It don't matter. It's not like I'm going to have to lift this up and work on it that often. I just wanted to have it right now because we have so much to do. So now I'm going to cut that top plate, this plate steel, and get it fitted. Alright, so ever since we've had this truck, this corner of the bed, this whole edge has always looked like it was kind of laying down a little lower. And I found here that the mount has been drilled out and re-welded, and it looks like this has got a ripple in it, like a bend. And then I found on the outside we got some ripples here. So I believe at one point this thing may have been tweaked. So I just need to compensate for that when I set this up, because I want this to be even on the top of, or as close as I can to the tops of those. Maybe just a slight bit higher would be okay, but I got to compensate for that. So now I need to cut that piece, and it'll have to be slightly tapered because this side over here is sagging down just a little over 1/8, but not quite 3/16 down. Alright, so there is kind of the idea. These will come out here. Of course, we got it welded to here. This is 1/8, this is 1/8, that's 1/8. So welding these to this isn't really a big deal, especially since we're adding in a brace. Now my brace will be notched 1/8 to come around here and come down. That's okay. It'll be just fine. I was going to go a little bit higher. Now I have these set right here. They're actually going to be 1.5 inches down because we'll have a box tube top cap that goes on, and then I'll probably 45 the ends of this right here so we can weld them together and seal them up. I'll leave the bottoms empty so they can drain out, and I'll probably cut a hole right there in that cross tube where these 2 uprights would intersect so that it can let water out as well. May not be necessary. We'll see. But that's the idea. And that box tubing gives me something to put my latch on, because I still need a latch to hook onto this. So I've got it placed so that I can put the latch right on here, come through here, and still make it tight. And I'll be able to move this bumper right here, and it's going to go on the inside, and it'll hit this just a little bit lower, but it will get on there. So give the latch something to pull against, a little bit of tension or a little cushion. don't know if I mentioned it, but I put a slot in here so that I could shove that up against. I want just enough gap here that these rubber snubbers work if I can. So I cut that to go around that floor. We can also just give us a nice little bead all the way around there. A happy little bead might help us out. Alright, so I've got them all cut and got it all welded in. And the parts that go against the sheet metal, I have to smooth out so my sheet metal will lay flat. I started grinding the wrong side to begin with, but that's okay. That is okay. This is the back side, I believe. Yeah, this is the face. So I'll have to weld or grind these welds down here and make it smooth as well. After that, I think we're ready to put her in. You can see where I was welding on the back side. I just took the vice grips and I just kept working my way. I started over here and worked my way across. Just kept moving the vice grips to hold that sheet tight as I welded. Got my braces in here. This turned out really nice, but the welder was, there might be something in that metal. Maybe I didn't clean it well enough, because man, I got a lot of spitting and sputtering going on there. This one did okay. The opposite side did okay. So I don't know. I just don't know. You know, it was hit and miss. Like sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna get all this stuff off here, and I am ready to let this down and start working on this part. Ah, crap, I forgot about that. I gotta get this. I was thinking about a piece of angle iron coming right off of this with a 90 on it and drill some holes in it for this. Forgot about that. Better do that next. All right, so I got those made. I just took a piece of angle. It was larger than I needed and just kind of laid it on the side here and drilled a couple holes and just matched this profile of the plasma cutter. And I was able to, you know, it's good, plenty good and strong. Did the same thing over there. That side's done. So we are effectively done with this part. I need to set it down now and make the little pads for this to sit on so we can reinforce that frame. So I'll need to take my lock out of there and the rest of the stuff and set it down. See how it looks. All right, it is down. I like it. We got just about the right height. I was looking for like about 1/4 of an inch above that. And I think that's about what we got there. So that worked out real well. I'll have to finish welding this out. One mistake I made was I didn't flap this before I welded that in. That was a mistake. I'm going to pay for that, that's for sure. Yeah, the bulkhead works out well. Look. Oh yeah, nice and strong. I believe most of that's from them gussets right there. That's what's really got it holding strong. But yeah, I like it. That's going to work out real good for the next phase. We got to move these bumpers. We got to make some locks. I got a lot more to do. I'm probably going to take care of a lot of the things off camera that don't matter, like moving this bump and fixing this latch and some of the other stuff and getting this welded in and finish this up and cutting that down. That's pretty trivial stuff. Well, we got our rear lights all done. We got the light panel up into place. As I'm trying to push these lights in, the strobe lights just don't fit. I've tried a different rubber grommet to mount them in. Makes no difference. I can put the stop turn tail or the backup in that location. Works just fine. So they're just wider. And I'm just going to take a flat disc out here to the sides and widen it up a little bit. Which means I will get yet another opportunity to paint this panel and see if I can get it to be all one sheen. I mean, it's like half gloss, half semi-gloss. I don't know. It's so weird. But at least we'll get a chance to paint it again. But I'll try that off camera and all that. Back here, I'm really thinking about going with an oval backup like those ones there. I don't think I want to use the little round ones. I'm going to investigate that here in the next day or so. See if I can get that to fit in there. If I have enough room for it. I don't know, but you know what? I think we're going to leave you right here. Oh, one more thing. My reservoir came in. It didn't come with the breather, fill, or the overflow. This overflow goes into the ram to the side we're not using for power, just for extra capacity. But you can see they've reinforced that flange compared to that old one. And I've checked it. It works perfectly, matches up good. You can see it's a little bit shorter, but it's also a little taller. So actually works out in our favor. We don't have to have as much room going that way. So we'll be able to get on that. But I think we'll pick up on the rest of this next time. I think this is a good place to stop. So hope you guys enjoyed, and catch you on the next one.